Look who finally woke up. I hope you found that sarcophagus comfortable. What's wrong? You're making a face as if every bone hurts. Well, who are you? You can't be a member. Well, who are you? You can't be a member. Well, begone then. This is not one of your temples. This is the Mathmalatu Priory. Back in its glory days, it was the monastery of the Elysian Order. Countless pilgrims used to come here to pray to the one true god in St. Elysia. But that was a few thousand years ago. Probably at the top of the tower in the center of the Imperial City. Why do you want to know? You'd better not ask him for a favor, believe me. You'll just end up like the ones outside. Praying to the divines is useless too. The Elysian Order burned all their priests and servants. That's madness. No mortal can do this. He's a playwright of this tragedy, and we're all just his puppets. Don't care.
Welcome to Act 4 of Vigilant, and stuff's gonna get pretty crazy from here on out because there's a lot of content to delve into in this particular act. As you can see, we've entered the realm of Coldharbour, and I've done some initial setup which Vic added as quality of life to make the atmosphere more dark and dooming. We've also added a few other texture mods and whatnot just to break up the colouring. So you got some dark contrasting with the beigey orange and whatnot. This particular act, we've now been damned into Coldharbour. One way or another, we've made it here, so.
It appeared around 200 years ago, and has been illuminating this place since then. In the past, this was a dark and gloomy place. I don't know the details. The Inquisitor in the Priory should know more. He seems like he's been here for a long time already. It's supposed to keep up the barrier around the Imperial City, but it hasn't done that for a long time now. There should be 3 more towers in the city, but those were destroyed too. The floating island to the southeast is now the last anchor of the barrier. I'm enjoying the wind. I had a goal in those days, but now I have nothing.
Coldharbour has taken on the appearance of an Alessian-ruled Cyrodiil, and all that remains now is the Alessian Empire, Knights of the Nine, and that's pretty much it. Jigalags launched an attack after the hero, or the champion of Cyrodiil from Oblivion, released him and became Sheogorath, and he's on a warpath. This is why I mentioned earlier in my last videos the importance of a Dragonborn main character. A Dragonborn main character, and why in Act 3 to martyr yourself is not really the correct route. It's because Dragonborn contains divine spark, more or less, from Akatosh / Lorkhan. So Morlai Baal needs to escape, and because Vigilance and Stender are guided by Stender, who seems to be quite hopeless at his job, he sees an opportunity to escape by utilising our soul to open the gates to Aetherius. So this is why he endeavours to trap us, and he utilises a few actors to help him on his journey.
I'm looking for my family's graves, but I can't find them. Yes? I'm looking for my family's graves, but would you really? The names on them are Johann, Simon, and Klaas. Please tell me if you.
So the best way to explain it is, and this is the kind of the hub village where you got all your trading and whatnot. You see a familiar face, Varla, the guy that didn't like the fact that I killed him. Whoops. And you'll also see Giovanni and Marso. And we've also got VERNACCUS and Bourlor from the tale, and you can more or less throughout this quest, if you want the good ending, you need to go and make people forgive themselves for their actions. You'll be presented a lot of flashbacks during Act 4, which we'll go through in as best ability as we can. And these flashbacks... Hang on, wait for see what Sir Junk has to say.
Newcomer, you're so full of life. Vigilance. Weaklings like you? One such tried his luck with the flying worm a while ago. Some screaming was heard, and then nothing. If you don't want to meet the same end, you should learn your place in this world. A flying Daedroth. How can he even fly with such an unshapely body? Take the key from the captain. He's always up in one of the watchtowers. Avoid him. What kind of... But even for madmen like him, there is still something like inner peace. He's not quite at peace though, but you should still not disturb him. Vena, it's noisy in here too. We need to find a quieter place. Vena, it's noisy in here too. We need to find a quieter place.
Did the mighty Vigilant also end up in Oblivion? What an irony. So what will it be? I hope you have enough gold for shopping, and please refrain from this so-called mercy of yours. I got infected with the mutated Thracian plague, all thanks to you. Every day is full of pain, but I'm really grateful to Stendar, damn bastard.
So, you may have heard me mention at the one of the earlier videos about this being somewhat of a love story. We're sort of sent in as that free agent after being ensnared by Molag Bal, because he sees an opportunity. And there's three main characters, well, technically four you could consider, in this little piece. So we've already met a few of them already. We have LeMay, the first vampire, Bal, and then Altano. There's also that nameless bard that a lot of the characters have mentioned and future characters will mention. Basically, the love story was between the nameless bard. He was an Ayleid and had the hots on for LeMay. She's an Edic woman. She's yes, that scared the Christ out of me then. Yeah, so he had the hots on for her, and it was forbidden at the time. So worshipping Molag Bal was a common thing at the time, and he was one of the deities prayed to from an Ayleid point of view. And what happened was that he got his body possessed by Molag Bal and raped LeMay. Now, this technically granted his wish. He got to bed her, but that's not what he wanted. But technically. But at the same time, he got to spit in the face of Agea because he created the first vampire, thus cheating death. Because then a person that was meant to die will no longer. So here's Bourlor's place, by the way. And if you've read the lore book, you can appreciate the comedy here.
No, unfortunately, I am busy practicing knife throwing.
But yeah, so this sort of triggered a splitting of his personality per se. You have three variants really. You have, well, really only two. You have Bal, who embraces it, who denies it, I should say, and thinks he's in the right. Then you have Altano, who chose to forget it. Now we can actually make these options later on in this quest line based on our actions. Big key theme throughout this mod is you'll see in the top left, not right now, but when we do certain mission specific things like kill like a major boss, and you can tell it'll say karma gained. Now we're going to be freeing a lot of people's souls in a way, because we're going to be showing them... Oh, hang on, here's Giovanni and Marso.
They were infested with leech parasites. They spread the plague, but Giovanni is all right because he does not drink dirty water. Stupid Marso. To steal the heart of Campanera, he borrowed power from Molag Bal. This form was the price. His soul was twisted, turned into a beast. Giovanni will also become like this.
Yep. Well, that's what you get. That's what you get, boys. Eh? So we're going to be freeing people's souls, and it's more or less entering their memories and things that got them trapped in this realm is what they are clinging onto. So we can show them what it looks like if they had done something different, and that is enough to set them free, which ties into the Nameless Bard. We have to, but if we're good with our intent and our actions, we too can release his soul, thus ending the cycle and winning respect from Bar.
Are you freeing me? I
Molag
don't
Bal,
even
that
know
is.
what happened that I ended up trapped here. What a rotten luck. I don't quite remember. There was something about a slave trader and cheap booze. When I woke up again, he was no longer here. Oh, what a bastard, to lock me up in this hole. Well, we were supposed to meet at the Malatu Priory, but who wants to listen to that grumpy old man there?
So there's a lot of encounters around with various NPCs, and on the first playthrough it was really confusing as to what was going on and who was important, who wasn't, and it sort of becomes just more of a exploratory kind of, well, what's in here? And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool, and then motivated me to look into it. Now, I think that's a really good way to design a quest, in my opinion. You have to, if they're utilizing established lore, you know, with a bit of flex, right? And it's enough to go, well, why would they? What's this? This has to mean something. Like, what this particular? Why would they make this person say this or do that, etc.? With all the Knights of the Nine, they're just cameos more or less, and they have little sort of side plots and whatnot, but which are very enjoyable. Don't let me undersell it, but yeah, there's a lot of instances where I'm like, well, let me just go onto the UESP and see what this is about. Now, that's pretty impressive in my opinion. That a quest mod would get me to want to study up on Elder Scrolls lore. But yeah, so I guess the ultimate choice at the end of this mod is to free the Nameless Bard and make him forgive himself for his actions. And that's what we do throughout Coldharbour. We have the ability to free people of their issues. And, you know, right now we're in VERNACCUS's keep. And in the lore, he, you know, cannot be killed. And then Kyne blessed this warrior to make an arrow that never missed. And if I recall correctly, the arrow got him and sent him back to his realm, which technically didn't kill him. But then, because he's technically failed, Bourlor that is, his one and only arrow or bow broke, and VERNACCUS made off with it, so he didn't have any other skill. So now we're here to just tie off this loose end, because frankly he's a bit of a prick, so I want to take him down.
Once again, my name is VERNACCUS. I am the Bane of Kyne. You humiliated me before, but now I will repay you 100-fold!
So when I first played through this, my jaw hit the floor with the combat encounters, and then it only got better and better with additional mods like TK dodge and true directional movement. But it's not quite at that Dark Souls level, I'll be honest. And you can definitely get that sense that you're an all-powerful Dragonborn though. Like if you level up right and whatnot, you're just gonna have a fucking banging build, which you don't really get in Dark Souls. It's just sort of, yeah, there's Bourlor's bow, and he's even got the law book. He must be doing some light reading. Yeah. But yeah, I hadn't played them properly. I played a bit of Dark Souls on the Xbox, and went, "Fuck, this is pretty hard," and I didn't really appreciate what it was at the time. I've since obviously gone back and really thoroughly enjoyed it. But
changing. I hope this is
so
my good
you see
old
the top
bow.
left karma
After
gained.
all this
So
time, it still hasn't changed.
we've tied off a loose end.
Yes,
Now his soul
I
can
will
go
help
free.
you. I'm tired of knife
That is
throwing
unless we want him
anyway.
to help us, which I find the companions to be very buggy on this mod. Like you can get a few of the knights to follow you around, and for some reason or another they just vanish.
I hope it will be a fair win.
But and that's another thing you'll notice too. And this is more of a Skyrim jank thing. But if you're talking to someone mid-conversation and you leave,
you defeated VERNACCUS. Well,
then they come outside with you. It leads to a few jump scares my time. But yeah, big props go to Viken on this. I mean, I've played probably 3 different iterations of this mod. I've done more playthroughs than 3, but 3 iterations where initially this Daedroth here was just a weirdly modelled Daedroth, and it looked so bad. It was cool to me at the time. And then they replaced it with the Serpentine Dragon, because I guess that looked a bit closer. And now it's got its own dedicated model to look like the other Daedroth, but with wings. Really great model work there. And yeah, this full-out fight can get pretty annoying. When you're a fully realised Dragonborn with Dragon Rend, it doesn't work either, so it's like, So you've seen our mentor at the start of this video, Pepe, or Archbishop Pelin, and he's a disillusioned priest of the Alessian Order, and he just wants to die now, but he always wants to pass on. There's this whole thing with Shezarines and Shazar. That's just basically a chosen one by, some call him Shaw, Lorcan. We could be considered to be Shazar, because they're told that Shazar will come and bring them salvation, which we can do. And this game heavily relies on a lot of interpretations and obscurities, and also heavily on dragon breaks. Everything happens at once. It's, there's you made every decision. And I think, again, that's why it can be so confusing. So there's Altano. He didn't make it far here. Another thing about this mod and why it's so... if you can get through it at an early level, it's going to set you up for the rest of your playthrough with whatever you're doing.
Thank you for killing the worm. I can finally enjoy my walks again. I told you, I'm on a walk. An old man should be allowed this much. The main gate is to the north, but it's been sealed since the invasion of the Army of Order. There is a way, though. To the northeast of the island, there's a large sewer leading to the prison tower in the city. You may want to try crawling through it. If you're lucky, it will lead you to the Imperial City. If you're lucky. An infinite army, led by Jiggalag. It invaded a few decades ago, and began conquering the entire continent. Almost the entire empire was absorbed and destroyed by Digalog. After the defeat in the Battle of Way, only countless souls have been sacrificed to maintain the barrier. But even the souls have limits, and Molag Bal's power is declining. The barrier will not last much longer. Then, Grey March will overrun this wasteland and crush us all. If we don't want to become food for his dogs, avoid the fortress to the east and go north. He's a knight who made a name for himself with the cleansing of Malada. But his mind is twisted, broken. He's now hunting humans with his dogs. After he ended up here, he swore allegiance to Molag Bal. He was allowed to keep his human form, and he even got his own territory. Be careful around him.
And you also defeated the worm. Seems I was mistaken about you. I heard rumors he's insane. A half-breed of a human and an elf. He hunted elves at first. He was neither one or the other because of his blood. That's why he went mad. It's a pity, really. When I saw you walking around, I wanted to travel again. It's better than staying in one place and waiting to rot there.
There's a lot of different collectibles you can find. This is what I was sort of alluding to just before we had that dialogue dump. And it can make you build really powerful, right? There's 3 different drops for, and it's a +10 in health, stamina, and magicka. Then you can also get extra perk points, dragon souls, and +20 carry weight. So very powerful collectibles, and it really motivates you to look around. And it's almost, you'd be crazy not to do it, right? Like, such a big boost. It's like 3 levels almost. And you come out really sort of beefy as a result. So here, and I'm going to try to get as much content that I think is memorable. I mean, a lot of it's memorable to me, and I think it's all interesting in its own way. But yeah, if some dungeons drag on, and I'll make the necessary cuts and jumps and speed ups and whatnot. But we're coming up now to one of our first boss fights, and you'll notice the music and it feels very reminiscent, even the armor in some cases. So I'll let this play out because, it's always fun on new playthroughs to experience this. So this is one of those instances where I'm just going to speed it up because you can see it's a bit of a labyrinth, right? And as I'm going through, I'm just trying to find it. None of the times I've played this mod, I still get lost in this particular area. And here's another glitch for you. There's a few of these actually in the videos. series, but yeah, it's just, you know, it gets tedious, right, to a certain point, and I was just quite surprised that the dungeon continued on. I thought, oh, that was a cracker boss fight. What more could they add? I feel like they almost got it backwards, but you know, I guess there's somewhat some lore tied to it. I don't quite get it in its entirety, involving Mary and Lessians and Mara's religion and witches burning. I feel like this will tie into Glenmoral at a guess, which is the next quest point, major quest point Viking's working on, which by all intents and purposes is a Bloodborne inspired mod. But this one's more of a, it gives me more of a Dark Souls kind of atmosphere. And I mean, it's pretty blatantly obvious when you play the earlier versions, because the armor that was in that was ripped straight from Dark Souls. And I think going back retroactively and putting in custom armors has made it feel more unique, and not reminiscent of other games. But I can also appreciate that Dark Souls armors look sick. So he's also put in optional encounters to fight enemies that have the armor, so you can still get it. So I think that's good. That's great. That's all you can really ask for in it. I really like this concept for the spiders that just blast you with fire. It always reminds me of RuneScape for some reason. I don't know why. It just the variant of the spiders, I guess. I don't know. But we do a bit of stealth archery too, because sometimes it's just easier. And yeah, I've played this so much, like oh, fire salts, if I get 10 I can give it to Balamut and then rift it when I'm done here. So this is probably definitely a Fire Witch Quelaag reference. Fire Spider, Naked Woman, come on, let's be real here. I don't know what it is with this particular run through. I feel like I'm not that underleveled for this quest line, and yet I get smashed around. I have no idea what it is. I normally play, I think maybe because I play Breton, I think they have a natural magic resistance, whereas Nords just have frost resistance. So we got rid of her, and we continue on. There's a lot of content to crack on with on the outside of the Imperial City, and then a bucket load more once we get inside too. It can be daunting having played it, knowing what's left to go, because you know, this video's length itself, and we barely scratched the surface. I'm gonna try to minimize where I can having really long videos, because they're quite a slog. But yeah. So now, anyway, moving on. We're in Fort Welkynd, which is Varla, his fort. He agreed to work with Molag Bal and laid claim to this particular fort. So we're going to go save his soul. There's a few things we need to also do while we're here. And there's also some quest lines and stuff too. It's a bit, you know, not finished at the moment. It's not voice acted. The quest line's finished and it's pretty trippy. But yeah, it's not voice acted yet. And that can either make it or break it for some people. For me, it is really difficult. And I feel it's difficult to capture it in a video, because it's probably not as engaging as listening to dialogue versus just seeing words on the screen. But yeah. a lot of these places do end up feeling like labyrinths, and I think I do kind of get it. I understand why Bethesda made linear dungeons, because, or maybe I've just been conditioned by them, because when you have so many options to attack, you don't know what's right, what the right order is. I instinctively am rushing to the definitive end, but there's 2 deviations I can make still that I'm like, do I do those first, or do I? What happens if I don't? You know. I definitely appreciate the additional enemies added, like the Minotaurs, or the Blood Fiends and whatnot. It's makes it a bit more interesting, a bit more engaging, a bit more strategy involved. So there's a big lore piece here with Emperor Belharza, who's imprisoned behind this gate here, and it goes into the Minotaur Emperor, and did Alessia actually have a child with a Minotaur, and it's all very obscure lore, and it's great, and it feels so out of place though, because the Elder Scrolls games don't really go that deep. Ever since Oblivion, they don't go into that really, really weird stuff. And, you know, it definitely worked with Shivering Islands, but yeah.
Who's a half-bull? Who told you such nonsense? Silence, Varla! Don't let your success at Marada go to your head. You, an alien orphan raised to knighthood by none other than I, Belharza. I want the heart of Shazar. Bring me the heart of Shazar. The heart of Shazar. I told you we needed to kill this abominable Oriel. Bring me the heart, quickly. Hungry. I am so hungry. Who's the... Are you saying Alessia open... Silence, Varla! You and... I told you we needed to kill this Shazar is the agent of the one true god. He's the leader of the weak, spreading the might of the true god to every... Varla, did you forget? Do you really believe what that bard said? This abominable Oriel has abandoned you, but I, Belharza. So please, come to your senses. Be that bold man you used to be and get back to cutting off alien heads.
Now, I know I'm explaining a lot of the different lore implications and backgrounds. I don't. My intent really isn't to go deep with everything, or to be honest, go deep to start with. But yeah, needless to say, there is a quest line up. Can't make any guarantees, but I'll probably show you the weird bits of it. But like I said, it's not voice acted, so you know. I think one thing I want out of this mod, apart from obviously it being done, is having ambient music in Coldharbour. When you hear just the regular Skyrim music, it really feels out of place. You feel like you really do feel like you're in another world, and yeah, just hearing just typical dungeon music. You're like, oh, am I? This doesn't feel like the same vibes as a Skyrim dungeon. So, Henrik is more or less like the Siegfried from Dark Souls. He's sitting around all the time.
It's you again. What a coincidence. His name is Varla, a child of an alien and a human. He used to be a lord of the eastern part of the Alessian Empire when he was alive, They say he was killed when his subjects rebelled against him because of his brutality. I don't think much about peasant revolts, but it was justified in this case. Not even one of them. Where in Oblivion could they be? Some friends they are. I only wanted some alcohol from the kitchen, but that stingy cook. I thought one would be more relaxed about this after death. I wasn't stealing. I asked for just a little. It can't hurt, can it? Right, you understand me.
You don't have to kill any of the NPCs that are friendly if you want their armor, because the game has it made so that you can craft any armor that you come across.
Miserable wretch. What are you doing in my fort? That heart is nothing but a stupid tale of an old man. I have no intention of looking for it. The mythic era ended long ago. Coming here was your last stupid mistake.
I don't know how every game makes fighting dogs so annoying, but they do. Oh. But yeah, like the AI of Skyrim is not really made for that sophisticated attack scheme. And you'll see, you know, it really try, and it can work in some instances. It does make the boss fights, you know, memorable, but yeah, most of the time I will have a clear advantage because I just have more freedom. Like, I'm not locked into certain animations. So you'll see some like finishes used as attack animations, for example, like that one, and I can just easily walk around and get a few free hits on them. But this should be, I think, our first proper flashback where we can make a decision. His decision in reality was that he murdered a little girl because she was part Aelid, but we can actually change this for the better, so yeah.
Taking Macmontaine was good work, and now we are one step closer to Malada. Don't be so formal, Varla. We may not be related by blood, but I still think of you as my son. You can ease up. Alessian Order wants to use it as a temple. They say that if we pray there, they will find out where Shazad is. If we can't find Shazad that way, then we should also take Malada, don't you think so? It is all for the good of the Empire. That goddess is a sword loser. Umaril's defeat must have frustrated her. Why else would she help the doomed Ayleid? These Ayleid. Such uproar because of one temple. If they only surrendered it, they wouldn't have to die. Fools, all of them. Perhaps we need to hasten the enforcement of the Alessian doctrines. I will talk to Borgus about this. Varla, I ordered all Ayleid killed, no matter whether man, woman, or child. As a knight of the Empire, you must overcome your compassion. Why are you hesitating to kill one or two more of these filthy Ayleid? Strike her down now. Wait, you know about this? I should have known. Have you been listening to that strange bard? However, the Ayleid abandoned you. They threw you into the Lake Romer as a newborn. If the Imga Prophet hadn't found you, you would have been food for the fish. And you would still choose the blood of the Ayleid over us. Varla, I think of you as a son. Would I raise you to knighthood otherwise? I raised you as a human child, as a child of Shazad. So why don't you raise your sword with a brave cry and let it fulfill its purpose? I care very much for you. So you must strike down any alien who would deceive you. Please understand. I understand. Fine. You and I are through from this day forth. Take that filthy girl and go wherever you think you can find your happiness. The last ship to Aelinor will sail in 3 days. You should board it.
Need something? Good morning.
I wish you good health, Varla. Leave
Where are we
the
going?
worries of the Empire to us and live a good life.
Is it nice there? Yes.
Need something?
So we've successfully set his soul free, which is the first of many such quests where we can do that. And now we're delving into my not so favourite parts, which is the sewage explorations. I just think we did enough of it in Act 2. He was really good in Act 2. The atmosphere was creepy. But, you know, I guess it makes sense when you're, you know, in an imperial city, it's probably going to be a sewer, or 2, or 3. Not really, I don't really like sort of derelict locations, you know, all the time, and this sort of things are no different. They feel dirty and gross. There's one part where you have to get into the city through the slums, which will come much later. But I just never liked it. I just sort of, I don't know if I'm just like a snob or something, but I just want to come in through the main gate. So the reason we're in this dungeon is to fight the Leech King. Definitely not a reference to anything. And it drops a very powerful weapon. Yeah, so this ladder takes you up into the city, but you can't come down there until much later. There's some karma related quests you can do with some entities that are in here. Those, you know, kicking about like kids. You can return their pelts to them. They're like, but trust me, if you do everything right in the quest line by just going to each point of interest, you won't need the bonus karma. You'll be pretty much covered. So this is actually a very dangerous boss fight. I know it's a bit of a meme, but it hits quite quickly and hard, and it poisons you as well. So it's always best to just get rid of it, and summons minions, so best to get rid of it when you can. There you go, the Moon's Light, Great Sword of Jode. And a cool hat. Now we go into the Inquisition Court Sewer. The only real major thing we need to do in this quest, in this sewer, is vanquish Bartholo's soul once and for all. he was part of the Blood Curse in Act 3, but his soul was like mutated and sent to the Coldharbour, so we can set it free again. And yeah, it's messed up with thinking all these creatures we're killing here were once, you know, normal races of Tamriel. Oh, and that's why I love Ordinator, folks. That big swing and get all three in one swing. So satisfying. Again, so good. So Bartholo is very powerful in this particular instance because he's got the animation of a werewolf, but it hits way harder and faster and does damage over time with bleed effect. So again, just got to get him before he gets you. So there's not too much more to this particular dungeon. So we've done the, he drops really good greatsword as well. But yeah, we've done the major stuff for this. We also we're coming across a lot of priories around with a lot of undead creatures and stuff. Some of them are quite good, and I think it's, we'll find out on this one, but some of them can be quite creepy as well. So each dungeon has like an anti-room that teleports you back to the start, and yeah, I guess it's probably better than having like a secret hidden door that takes you to the entrance. I feel that's a bit of a cop out, and it just makes you wonder, like, if I was an excavator or an archaeologist, how did I not like dig through the fake wall that lifts up with a lever somehow through magic? Like, I dug all the way around and oh, there's an exit just there on the other side of the mountain. So I think they did what they could. And obviously there's no benefit to backtrack and there's nothing to be gained. You could roleplay it if you wanted, but yeah, it's just walking for the sake of walking. So I'm just coming up here to one of those instances where you can get the original armor before they upgrade all the models, and this is how he's implemented it. Just come across these cursed bodies and you have a named boss fight encounter, which can be quite challenging. This guy particularly put up a good fight. So now we're in the funeral channel, and I think this is probably one of the creepiest ones. All these skeleton statues can kill you if you get too close. And they just randomly appear throughout this labyrinth they set up. There's one there. They're kind of like the Weeping Angels in Doctor Who, where if you don't look at them, they move closer towards you. And it's quite painful, it's quite intimidating. one that sends shivers down my spine. I don't know if he's upgraded the model or something, but there it is there, and it's just this unkillable, unmovable skeleton that just moves towards you, and it just gives you goosebumps. Originally, it was just all black, and it took me ages to notice it. So you could see how much damage that just did by being close to it. So the way the dungeon's set up, it's always trying to trick you immediately. But yeah, and I don't really know what the safe distance is. I think you're meant to be up against the wall, really. Because like it still damaged me there. And then the next puzzle we have to deal with is really hard with true directional movement, because the camera's all jittery. You have to just line up when you have a good view and just pray that you get up the stairs, because another skeleton will come down on you and kill you. So it's very, very challenging on your first run through. But the reason we're here is we're here to fight this particular undead necromancer, because he has a ring that will allow us to talk to a deity or entity or part of Sithis later on in the quest line. I did do some lore investigating to this character, and I don't think there's much on them, to be honest, so it's just more or less a name encounter purely to get this ring. But we more or less finished this dungeon now. We have one more little challenge, which isn't too hard, to be honest, but these statues on each side will move in towards you. But yeah, I found just sprinting through that they never seem to move fast enough to catch up. So now once we leave this channel, we make our way further and we come across this gate, this guarded gate. So we're going to take it out. See what's behind it, what's so important. And there's some really good, cool scorpion models I quite like, and I feel like they use the spider animation rig to really high effect, but no, they don't use the stinger, unfortunately. But as we come up the hill, we see more and more dead bodies. Obviously something up here is very powerful. But yeah, coming up to the leader of the Knights of the Nine, PELINAL, and it's one of my favourite fights. So we've dispatched PELINAL WHITESTRAKE, and this powerful barrier is his memory, which we can enter. So I'm going to enter it, and well, I'll be seeing you in the next video. See ya.